So I watched a YouTube video the other day. Do you know the React channel? It's like it's
React Bros? Like, what do you mean
no,
the
it's
React
just it's
channel?
just React, and it's this specific video was they brought in a bunch of teenagers to play NES for the first time.
Oh no, okay, I didn't see it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay,
it's like one of those channels.
I
But
wonder if it is React Bros or like the React Brothers. Like, do you remember that the first thing they like tried to copy? They tried to trademark React videos.
no,
Oh gosh, this is like legendary YouTube lore. You got to go down the rabbit
wow,
hole.
no,
Like
I'm
two
old, so
guys who made videos, and yeah, they literally tried to trademark React videos. Of
wow,
course, it didn't work, and like everyone
right,
hated them. But
yeah.
yeah,
No, they tried.
they certainly did. They
Yeah,
certainly did.
yeah. So anyway, these kids were they were playing. They had them play Mario Bros. They had them play Bubble Bobble, Mega Man, and Ghouls and Ghosts, I think. Maybe I'm missing one too, but
Absolute classic games.
absolutely. And it was really nice to see them just have a lot of fun. Like they would pair them up, so it'd be like two kids play one game, two kids play. And yeah, it's just like, it was really kind of nice to see that there's really that truth there that fun gameplay has no timestamp on it. It's really just like, you can give kids an NES, sit them down on a couch together, and they can have a great time.
So, was the overall takeaway? Like, I was ready for you to say they all hated it. Was
No,
the overall takeaway that they actually like were having fun?
yeah, yeah,
That's huge.
kind of shocked me.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like when you set this whole thing up, I thought you were here to like say, man, they hated it. Like NES
No,
sucks. It doesn't hold up at all.
no, you know what? Mario Bros, those games, they totally hold up.
And it's
I think like it's different playing it on your own, but when you're like sitting there with a friend,
I think you have to have a like. Maybe it's a hot take to say that. I think you have to have a friend at this point to sit down and play like
to sit down and play
NES, Super
at
Nintendo.
length for
Yes,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, like more
Maybe
than 30 minutes or an hour.
yeah, maybe SNES has a bit more leg in terms of sitting by yourself. Like I think I could play like A Link to the Past for a few hours,
I'll agree with that.
you know.
But let's say outside of the best games on the console,
Yeah.
if you're playing like you know what I mean, of course you could sit down and play Zelda or Secret of Mana
Yeah.
or Final Fantasy 2.
Yeah.
Like how many of the other 700 games are you going to be able to sit down and play for more than 15 to 30 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, I think every game console probably ever created has a majority of terrible games and just a
The
few
majority are.
select and just a few select great ones. I mean, NES really had a huge library, so,
It did.
you know,
It did. And it's
there's just
funny
probably just as much shovelware as was on the Wii.
you bring up having first time like kind of experiences. Funny enough, the other weekend I was together with my other three brothers. So I have one older brother, two younger brothers, and we were playing Contra Super C.
Wow.
And my younger brothers had never played it before.
Okay.
So first, me and my older brother did a run, and like we're pretty good at Super C at this point. We grew
Yeah.
up playing it, and we got to like stage 5 or something. Had a great run, and then we like passed it over, and they're dying at level 1 and stuff, but like having a great time doing it, just playing the co-op of Super C.
Yeah.
Because again, it's one of those games where it is obviously one of the best on the console.
Yeah.
Like I think everyone will agree, but it's just fun to play and sit down and play with another person though. Like co-op made it, we sat down and played probably an hour and a half
Yeah.
between the four of us.
Yeah.
Because of the co-op aspect as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, me and my best friend, back in the 90s, we put so many hours into like Turtles in Time and those great games.
Yeah, it is.
You
The
just play
couch
them
co-op
over and
aspect.
over. Yeah. Yeah, and it's great. Like
And
our lives were like absorbed by Halo when it came out.
of course,
There's so much fun with split screen.
of
Man.
course. And I guess I was going to ask you as a bigger question here is, are older games actually better? Like, what do you think about that? Because there's always, a lot of argument, and it'll probably never go away. Where like, man, games aren't as fun as they used to be.
Yeah, you
Do
know
you
what?
think that statement holds?
I've seen a lot of that um, prevailing maybe it's been the last 3 to 4 years, maybe even the last 2 years. Like a lot of videos have been popping up in my feed where it's like our games just aren't fun anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like
Yeah.
that type of video, sorry, is getting in
Yeah.
my feed as well.
Yeah. And I feel like I think there's been a lot of commercialization in terms of games. I think people are they're maybe not thrilled with this live service thing companies are trying to cash in on. It's just like I feel like the games that I personally gravitate to and remember and want to play are the ones that really gave me a great experience. And not just from a gameplay aspect, but from like a story aspect. It's like sure Fortnite is super popular. And I guess, it can be fun with friends.
With friends, the Fortnite can be a great time
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. But I think, yeah, overall, it's like it's difficult to find that same fun with modern games as you did with older ones. There was kind of a simplicity there.
I do you think that has to do with like do you think if you were to take kids, right? Like we took kids there with NES stuff, um like say someone was walking in blank, is someone going to enjoy Mario 64 more than Mario Odyssey?
Hmm.
Is someone going to think that Mario Kart N64 is better than 8 Deluxe? Is it better? I know these are like some big huge franchise games and stuff, but when I think about it, I really enjoy Mario Kart N64,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's better in like any way than Deluxe.
No.
Um,
No.
the Smash 64 is not better than the newer iterations.
No. For sure. I mean,
Um,
just objectively speaking, I mean, it's obviously much lesser technology, but that doesn't mean you can't have a great time or experience with it.
yeah,
You know?
I agree. It doesn't like disable that the game is fun.
Yeah.
It's just like, are people maybe pushing that narrative too hard that older games are better or new games aren't fun anymore? Does it
Yeah.
get like overstated and kind of nostalgia goggles?
Yeah. I think that's probably part of it. But also we've had how many years of game design and kind of it's hard to see something really new, you know?
I agree with that.
When you I think when you grew up, especially with like NES, SNES, N64, there was massive change between game generations. Like incredibly massive. I think today would be really interesting if someone gave their kid an NES as their first console, like when they were like, 4 or 5.
Hmm.
And then like as they got older, get them like the next consoles in the generation. I think it would be really interesting.
That they actually see the leap
Yeah.
that existed
Yeah.
or appreciate the leaps.
Appreciate the leaps and bounds that really, the exponential growth we saw for game development.
Because I really think, when I think about the graphics, they peaked. I don't care about graphics anymore.
Yeah.
It
For I
makes
remember
no,
for like a decade, it was like the graphics, the
yeah, like
graphics.
it just,
And now it's just
once
like,
PS3 rolled around, man, graphics peaked. That's it.
yeah,
Like there's nothing more I need. The past 15 years, I really feel like it's not changed my experience with gaming.
yeah,
The Last of Us looks freaking great. PS3.
yeah,
Does it look better now? Yes, sure, great. But like the fundamental enjoyment is not going to be dictated by a graphical change anymore,
no,
in
no.
my
There's
opinion.
no substitute for great game design.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I will say that, graphical changes or graphical downgrades can hurt an experience. The same way good graphics can aid an experience.
Mhm.
So you go back to Super Mario Kart SNES.
Yeah. I
Like
think it has to have,
has limitations, right?
yeah, it has to be part of the overall design for sure. Like it has to fit in the puzzle, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the
Not be the
thing is
focus.
when you try to make something like even the original FF7, the graphics kind of hinder the experience because it was made to be like an open world whatever, and you have graphics that don't like fully let it be that.
Yeah.
Um, that's when I think graphics do hinder. Not that it makes FF7 bad, but going back to try and play that, it's like like the graphics aren't doing it any favor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's harder for it to hold up in that regard, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%, and I can see why someone going backwards would be like, like, I can't get into it, or it's not as good as people make it out to be,
Right.
because you get in there and, it looked dated as hell,
Yeah.
to put it frankly.
Yeah. For sure. There are games that hold up much better than other ones for sure.
Like, you mentioned Super Nintendo, I agree. Like, Super Nintendo, because it is we're seeing, like, almost a renaissance of pixel art.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think a lot of the great game experiences that I can remember over the last few years have been more indie style games. I mean, obviously, like Last of Us is incredible and AAA franchise,
Mhm.
but there have been so many great indie games as well that really shocked me about how innovative and neat they were.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of indie developers, indie titles are the ones willing to make a different experience at this
They have
point.
the flexibility and
Yeah, like
usually the passion. It's not like a gigantic studio where they're,
yes, a
you know,
bureaucracy creating a
yeah,
video game
yeah,
where it's almost formulaic.
yeah,
We know what works. We know the best games, like how we're in like a battle royale spot right now where everything has to be a BR.
yeah,
And like, that's the online experience. And Halo Infinite came out and kind of sucked. It didn't have a BR. No one liked that. And like the game had a lot of issues, but you know what I mean. You were talking about the first Halo, how it consumed your life. Well, Halo 5 certainly, or Infinite, sorry, certainly didn't consume mine.
yeah,
I got, 8 months of gameplay,
yeah.
which I guess is pretty good, but like I didn't touch campaign.
Well, me and my friend were like waiting for co-op campaign because that's what
It still didn't come out, did it?
no,
Like it's not a thing.
we literally did that with every Halo that came out. That was like the thing for Halo.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the co-op
we
campaign.
played online 2 and 3, but our main thing was hanging out in the same room and playing couch co-op, with Halo.
Yep.
That's where we had real fun.
And I think that's like I know that online now you can still do play together and all this stuff, but truly sitting in the same room as someone is just a different experience altogether.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just is.
It doesn't yeah, nothing else really compares.
And when we talk about older games being better, that is one experience that I wish hadn't been lost in years. Is just having the couch co-op option for almost anything.
Yeah,
Like two-player games where like almost anything had it, whether it needed it or not. The
it
game
was
would do.
there.
Yeah, literally, right? Just so you could do a
Yeah,
two-player.
yeah. I remember, spending sometimes, like, 30 minutes just or longer looking at games in Blockbuster with my friend, like, "Does this one have, like, two-player? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
split
that
screen?"
was that's
You know?
one of the biggest considerations.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you got 1 weekend and got 1 game to rent, gotta make it a good one.
I think I agree with you with the simplicity of things,
Yeah,
where you kinda had just such an isolated experience with the game. Like, the game itself, access, like, unlockables,
yeah,
stuff like that, Easter eggs within the game, or
yeah,
just playing the game to continue playing the game. Like,
yeah,
that has been lost entirely, I think, with
yeah,
the, like, battle pass or other online transaction type stuff.
yeah, I think we've been kinda spoiled too. Like, it's so easy to know what else is out there and what's better, and it's I feel like it's much more difficult to invest yourself into something now because you don't wanna be, like, let down,
I agree.
you know? Back then, you would give anything a shot, if it looked cool,
Yep. And
you
that
know?
was something I was actually talking with my younger brothers with the other day is like I wish I could go back to just being pure about my gaming.
Yeah,
Where it was just like, "Oh my god, this game's coming out," and like I don't care what reviews say. I just want to like this looks good. This looks great.
yeah,
But now I think about like I'm going to spend 80 to 100 almost 100 here in Canada now to get a brand new game.
mhm,
I mean, I can't have it suck. I
yeah,
guess maybe it's my own money now, but like when a new game comes out and the reviews are all like it's a 3 or a 4. It's like, "Oh man, like I'd love to try it, but
yeah,
I can grab literally anything else, look at reviews for literally anything else, and just, like, play a better game."
yeah,
Better game in quotation.
right.
Because is it? I had a lot of fun with a lot of bad games.